Anyway, so welcome back to the Be Like podcast. It's your boy, Coach Sloop. I dropped it, but I couldn't say it. Bring it back. It's your boy, Coach Juice. Here, my boy,
Mr. Selfcare, aka Jay Jones.
Jay Jones, Jay Jiggity, and we got a special guest today. Let him introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm Conlan Aguirre. Been knowing these boys for a minute, so I'm glad they called me up and got me on here.
Nah, it's good to have you, bro. It's good to have you. And your fly glasses, man.
And the Gatorade shirt.
And the Gatorade shirt.
I peeped that.
Hey, real quick, let everybody know where they can see the fashion, the fashion that you got on IG though.
Yeah, man. If y'all want to see some outfits or sneakers, follow Console. Really just trying to spread just kind of like my little artwork, I guess you'd say. Like I'm just into shoes and fashion stuff, so it's kind of just my little getaway, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's important that we got something, right? We always got to have something outside of what we're doing. And just as a brief overview, we are moving into transitioning into mindset development, cultivation of leadership, and then also career ascension. So that's what we're doing for former, current, and past athletes. That's why we're coming together on this podcast to be able to just have conversations around the development of those three dimensions as life goes on, because the stuff we learned in athletics never really went anywhere. So we want to be able to cultivate that for ourselves and then for others. So Jay Jones, we'll go ahead and get this thing rocking. We dealing with Conlan here, so we finna you know what I'm saying?
What we gonna do?
Lace the cleats up.
All right, so Conlan played cornerback. Let me think. So Conlan, we're gonna do some cornerback stuff today, some DB stuff.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start off with man to man, which when you're a man to man, it's mano a mano. You covering him wherever he go, you go. So so with the man on man. With our topic, we just kind of changed it into when you had to basically open up to another man. You had to talk to somebody when you've been stressed out, too much on your chest. You're about to blow up, so you had to open up and talk to somebody, a coach, like a mentor or somebody. So, what's a time where y'all had to open up to somebody, a man, or even a woman? So.
Nah, I want to take that first just because I feel like this is something that happened to me a lot throughout, my career as an athlete and then also in my professional career. And what usually end up happening is I'm a very passionate person by nature, and it tends to come off as other things when people don't really understand where I'm coming from. And depending on like being from Collegiate, Texas, I think the way we communicate might be a little different than some of the places I've been. Where they communicate. Some people don't, I get loud, right? I get loud or I get, angry and things like that. And I remember at Montana State, bro, my position coach had to have a man-to-man with me. My freshman year when I came in, it was during the summertime and I wasn't playing and I was upset. I had a lot of anger on my heart and I was just really just acting out a lot of different ways. And he actually was the one that sat me down, the first man that sat me down and told me that if you don't change your ways, he's like, you're gonna end up seeing something come of your life that you don't want. And I remember we sat there and I never really expressed to him how much I appreciated that conversation because the things he was telling me about, they never really left. Like it was always something that was in the back of my head, even though I never turned it around at that point. Like, what I'm saying? I didn't change my ways. I just really internalized what he was saying. And then later on, in my senior, junior years, I started to really take some of those things he said and held them close to my heart and imparted some of that wisdom on the younger kids that I played with. So I didn't have it easy as far as expressing myself. Still, even to this day, like I don't really just sit down and just, unload and be like, hey man, this is what's going on with me. I probably do that with a select few men in this world. Probably like my pops, Jay Jones, we done had some conversations, a couple other people, but it's a slim group. And I think it's because the way we raised, bro, like the way we were coached, the way we raised, the way it's just like coming up, you just keep that stuff in. Like you keep in most of it. You don't go expressing yourself all the time because you can come off as weak. And I think sometimes you almost don't want to speak things to power. You know what I'm saying? Like some things you don't even want to say out loud. You just want to keep them in the back of your head. So maybe what you guys think about, that, because I know that's been my experiences. Like my experiences have been, I've kept in most of the stuff I've dealt with for the most part. Like, and tried to turn it over in my own brain first before letting it out, because I don't want it to speak it to power. So what y'all think about that?
Yeah, I think for me, I think early on I was more eager to open up. And I think even going through like my teenage years, I think I was more in tune with my emotional side than what most men normally are. And so it's kind of hard for me because, you know, you hear that old saying, like, you know, it's hard for men to open up to each other or share emotions and things like that. But the older I've gotten and just being in the work world and the work environment, I mean, it's definitely true. It's hard for men to communicate maybe how they're feeling. But I think mainly just because you kind of get to a point where some of the things that used to bother you when you were younger don't bother you so much when you're older, or maybe they just get pushed back because they're of less importance. But I mean, and then as far as like talking to somebody man to man, I think you do, and just dealing with kids and how I grew up and stuff, I think you do somebody a disservice if you're not honest and have those heart to heart conversations, because you know, they're not needed every day, but they are needed at some point. If you don't have those conversations, then it never gets addressed, and there's no growth. And I mean, I can think of, I mean, there's plenty of times me and my pops, you know, butted heads, and you know, here I am, 26 years old, and I look back and think about some of the things he taught me, and I'm thankful for the times that we butted heads, and I can say the same for like many of my friends. I mean, because at the time you don't want to hear the honest truth, but in the long run, it pays off, and it's worth it.
Oh yeah, and I always say, I think everybody needs that mentor or that person they can open up to, because like you said, Kerry, when you hold it in, it sounds like you blow up. You when it comes out, it's gonna come out as aggressive. It's gonna come out as angry because you held it in so long. So in my experience, the person I say it all the time, but I talk to my granddad probably twice a week, and then it's nothing I never had to hold back any information from him, even if it was bad, you know, good, anything, I can talk to him about it. So it was just great to have him as a mentor, because if I needed guidance, I just called him, and even if it was something stupid, you know, no question is a stupid question for him. So with my granddad, just that helped me open up. But I'm like you, Kay, I don't open up to people unless I really, really trust them. So it's just a select few people I can. But just having him, like, since I've been probably old enough to talk, you know, I talked to him when I needed to talk to somebody. And that helped me with just, you know, mental health, just not getting angry. I feel like anytime I feel like it's too much, it's bottled up, I just call him and just let it out. So everybody needs that mentor, that person, like I say, man or woman, they can talk to just to let it out sometimes. So
I found it easier too to be able to do that when I did find people that were going through what I was going through and I could relate. I think that was a gateway to being able to start doing that into my maturity, like kind of like you were saying, and then having somebody like that as your grandfather is, Jay Jones, because like if I can't feel like you'll relate, sometimes it's hard for me to get to that point. Like it's hard for me if I don't feel like you'll even understand it. It'll be like, why am I even gonna talk to you about it? There's no point even bringing it up because I'm talking to a wall. And I think sometimes we deal with the ego. You deal with the ego because a lot of times, you know, you dealing with men that may be older than you. They may have, you know, sometimes people use stuff against you. So I think it's important to be vulnerable, because being vulnerable is real strength. You know what I'm saying? Where you can strip yourself and be vulnerable in front of people. I think that's when you really are being strong in the moment. But yeah, man, it's a constant battle. I know I ain't the only one, and I know it's. I want people to know that even though you struggle with being vulnerable, you got to keep finding ways to kind of release yourself of the stresses that you holding on to your brain and on your heart, because at some point it's gonna come out, and if it comes out in the wrong way, you'll find yourself littering the prison system. You'll find yourself to an early grade. You'll find yourself in an abusive relationship, things like that. That's how it comes out. So you know, I think that's important that we do have those man to mans, find men that we could communicate with, because it's different when you're communicating with another man than when you communicating with a woman. It just is a different conversation. It really is. But yeah, Jay Jones, go ahead. I'm saying we can pivot.
okay, topic 2. We still on cornerback stuff. It's still like a man to man, you know. In football, you can use the technique in man to man coverage. We call it the press coverage, getting somebody chest, get them uncomfortable.
Cena like that. He like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna kind of put it into when somebody pushed you out your comfort zone. So we're gonna use our press coverage as when somebody pushed you out your comfort zone, and how you combated, how you fought back, got back comfortable, or how it helped you, being uncomfortable. Because they say, you know, it's always good to be uncomfortable sometimes. You learn, it teaches you something. So
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, man. I mean, just anytime you get out of your comfort zone, obviously, I mean, it is uncomfortable, and but that's where you're gonna grow and see like real strides there. But I mean, there's countless times that I mean, just as an athlete that you go through situations that are uncomfortable. But I'm thankful for like just my experience personally that growing up, I was always a smaller kid and wasn't always necessarily like the most gifted. So I already kind of grew up as like an underdog and having to kind of get out of my comfort zone. So as I got into my career, I think it's helped me. But I think for me professionally, and I just apply it to this now, just because it's the stage of life that I'm in. But it was a hard conversation that I had with Petty whenever I was transitioning from a player to a GA or kind of like a coach. And we had a conversation just about, how to address certain things in a meeting or whatever. And I felt like he was coming at me some type of way, and I felt uncomfortable in that situation. But I mean, looking back, I mean, I knew he was coming from a good heart, and whether like it got put out there the right way or not. I think about that, and it's made me a better coach professionally, just the few conversations that we've had. And so I guess I'm not going into too much detail, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just the situations like that. And it's happened to me even while being at Abilene High. I mean, like I got my degree in math education, and here I am having to be a strength coach at a 6A school. Like, I mean, yeah, I've got some classes that we talked about stuff like that, but there's people that are certified that do this and get paid to do that. And so I've had to grow and learn, and I think that's the biggest thing just in any walk of life that you're in is, I mean, you've got to continue to search and find things that push you a little bit, because if not, you just become stagnant, and that's a scary place to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then in my career, going just football, I played D-line. I played a little bit of offensive line sometimes, in high school when they big game, they needed me to play. But in college, we had like 5 linemen go down my junior year in college. And they were like, hey, anybody have experience playing guard? And I didn't even raise my hand. And somebody was like, man, Jarrell, you did it at Everman. So a couple games my junior year, I had to play offensive line, which I hated. I hate offense. To this day, I don't like offense. But for the team, needed somebody smart, somebody that can learn to play, somebody that was, capable of doing it. So I did it. Really didn't like it. I was uncomfortable. I was like 260 playing guard in college. It wasn't, ideal. The old lineman I was playing with, I was 315 and 6'4", 6'5". I'm out there looking like a midget. So playing out there, I was real uncomfortable. I mean, I knew the plays and everything, but just playing offense wasn't my thing. So, but for the betterment of the team, I did it. And then in life, like you said, Con, it's just that growth. Sometimes at my job, something crazy happens. I deal with people with mental health issues, and it makes me uncomfortable. But you just kind of have to find that place or find the growth or find that situation where you can learn from it, and then you can teach somebody else from it too. So being uncomfortable, I kind of hated it sometimes, but going through that, and then in our professional lives, it kind of taught you just to fight through it, get through it, and then get the job done. So
before you go, Kerry, I was just saying, I mean, like the biggest thing though, like is you've still got to be you. So like anytime you're put in an uncomfortable situation, you've got to find something that you're good at and stay true to you, and then continue to build off of that. And I know that's what's helped me in uncomfortable situations.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
I'd agree because I've been in situations like both of y'all talking about, like, Jay Jones, you're talking about playing a different position when you're a player, and then Conley talking about working a job that you weren't really prepared for. You just were into the job, and then now you into that position. It's like, hey, look, it's got to get done correctly. And I know I have the ability to do this job because I've done many jobs, but I'm uncomfortable. And I think when we do those types of things, it trains us to be able to do the things that we are comfortable with better. Like, it's like, okay, I'm able to go out of my comfort zone and teach English language arts because that's what I'm teaching now. I did not go to school for that. I went to school for kinesiology, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm over here teaching dangling modifiers and, you know what I'm saying, high-end vocabulary to high school students. But the thing is, I have worked my butt off at a lot of different things and I know how to work. Like, I have a work capacity. So even if I'm uncomfortable doing it, I'm right now I'm sharpening my axe in regards to attacking things that I've never done before. Like, so with the uncomfortability, bro, like coming to Abilene, right? Coming to Abilene was a very uncomfortable situation for me. Reason why is because I had my daughter there when I was in school. Like, this is my junior year in college. So it's 2013. I had my daughter there. I had no family there. I had nobody with me. I just went out there because I wanted to play football. I wanted to go back to school. I just wanted to get as far away from Collegiate as possible because I knew staying there, I wouldn't go anywhere. It was my hometown. It was what I was comfortable with. I had to break that comfortability and go to a place of the unknown, right? So I go there and then I struggle naturally because when you start doing something you don't know how to do, you're going to not be so good at it. You might suck. So I struggled at first. People didn't know, but I was struggling mentally. Physically on the field, I was doing my thing. I was good at that. But off the field, it was like, okay, getting used to waking up on time, getting used to being where I need to be, where I was supposed to be there, even though I was dibbling and dabbling in my extracurricular activities outside of the field house. You know what I'm saying? And that stuff was stuff that was making me uncomfortable because I was used to being around people that basically pacified me. Being a superstar, you get a pass a lot of times. I didn't get that pass there. I learned how to be blue collar. And that mindset ended up taking me a lot farther in life than being around people that always is like, Carrie, you know, we got you. We, you know, that I got you. You know what I'm saying? I got you because you my boy. I ain't had no boys there. I had one guy that knew me and he wasn't gonna give me a break. So it was like, you got to break your head against the brick. You know what I mean? You got to keep busting yourself up to kind of get yourself hard and get better at whatever you're not doing good at. And I think through that experience, bro, it really took my life to the next level because that led me to get my master's out there, led me to leaving there and being comfortable to going to El Paso, where I really knew nobody but my cousin, and going out there and getting my teacher certification and kind of advancing in that way. And then starting this podcast with Jay Jones and doing a lot of different things. You got to do stuff that makes you uncomfortable constantly, because if you don't grow. Like, you got to break yourself. Like, you have to get to that point where you like, man, like, I'm scared a little bit. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. Then that's when you know you're doing something right. Like, you got to get to that point.
Jay Jones, I don't know if you heard him, but Gary said he was a junior in 2013. So how he played as many years as he did at Hardin-Simmons, I don't know.
Man, look, you know I got 2 years back. I tore the ACLs up. I paid for that. I paid for that.
You got receipts on that, huh?
Man, I got receipts on that right there, man. I got receipts, man. Them things, they screws, literally screws in both sides of my knees, bro. But hey, man, it was worth it though, because at the end of the day, even like with the knee thing, man, tearing my ACLs up, bro, like being that uncomfortable and just being just so like, bro, like, what am I gonna do in my life? At those points in my life, when I was really like, what am I gonna do, is when I really got the most innovative about, you know, the turns and the next steps I was taking. Like, I was really working my butt off to figure out what's gonna be next. Once you get in that spot where you like you kind of like questioning everything, is when you really come up with the best ideas. You know, that's when they say, like, even in the pandemic, we didn't have some of the most greatest stuff come out of the pandemic because people have been, you know, had their money taken from them, had their jobs taken from them, had, like, Conlan, you was doing like them workout videos. Remember we talked about that last time you was here. You was doing the workout videos with like rocks on your back and stuff like that. Like Conlan out here trying to get these kids motivated to lift weights because, bro, the pandemic really stressed everybody out. So it kind of made the leaders come to the forefront and be able to say, hey, look, this is the way we can do it. We could try this out. Like, that's what tough times do. They make you try different stuff out. So,
and I'll kind of apply it to the position itself. You know, I have an experience play corner, but before I touch on that, I mean, just really as a competitor, I think it's more rewarding and fulfilling whenever you go through those tough situations, those uncomfortable situations, because when you come out of those, I mean, it just feels better because it's something that wasn't like that you didn't know how to do before. And so like when you do have come out with even just the slightest bit of success, I mean, it's just way more rewarding and fulfilling. But I mean, if you apply it, I mean, you know, just people always think about how their sport or what they're doing applies to later in life. I mean, like playing corner, I mean, when you're playing off, I mean, you've got to be perfect with your technique. I mean, you just got to, but like when you're down there pressing, I mean, yeah, it's scary and I mean, it takes some courage, but honestly, like you don't have to be perfect. I mean, all you're trying to do is just knock people off of timing. And to me, that's the same as being in an uncomfortable situation. I mean, you try something, I mean, you're not going to go out there and be perfect the first time, but if you have just a little bit of success, then, you know, you might be successful with your end result at the end. But it's kind of crazy how it applies, man.
Nah, real talk, real talk. I remember you being out there, you 5'8", all of 5'8", 5'7", out there against 6'1", 6'2" receivers.
Yeah, man, on a weekly basis. And then at practice going against a dude that ran a 4.28 or whatever he ran. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't geared for all that, but
yeah.
I mean, it made me better in the long run.
Yeah, man. Day in, day out having to deal with that. You know, it'll make your mindset different. It makes you don't see challenges the same way as somebody that's always in the comfortable situations. And I think that's something that this new generation, you know, I want to preach that to them. Like, it's cool, like, to be uncomfortable for a while. Like, it's cool to take a year and take a position where, you know, you probably gonna struggle, but it may be what's best for you at the time. Like, that's cool to do. It's okay because it's gonna teach you things that you never would have got in that comfortable situation where you at right now. So for sure.
Let's go. Next topic. Defensive touchdown, my favorite thing in the world, because offense is supposed to score. Offense is supposed to score points. Defense is supposed to stop offense from scoring points. So when we get the ball and we score, that's that ultimate feeling. That's the turn up for real. So defensive touchdown is kind of how you kind of been talking about it. You're starting off as the underdog and you taking over and you becoming the big dog. So I know you, like you said, your whole football career, you were talking about that, and there's other situations in life. So what's some times where y'all was the underdog and then y'all turned out to be the top dog, the big dog?
Real quick,
what's up?
Short anecdote, short story. I got a short story about Con though. So Con, I remember when I first came in 2013, that was his freshman year. And I remember how the group of corners, they all felt some type of way because Con was undersized. He was a Mexican corner, which we ain't gonna get on that too much, but it's just there's a lot of black corners over there. You know, we ain't seen a lot of Mexican corners like that. He was a Mexican corner and he was knowing his job and doing his job, right? And cats really felt like, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, I should be playing over him. I remember even the dorms, bro, and I used to always hear, like, man, they playing me. I ain't getting no PT and this and that, woo, whatever. And then all the while I'm hurt, so I'm not really watching the games like that. I'm not really paying attention. But when I came back and I believe that was 2014, and I actually started watching the film like in practice, you know what I'm saying? Because I used to watch myself for the most part because I try to get better. But I would watch the defense, you know, and see who was doing their job. And this cat, bro, always in position, always doing his job, always stay on top of his grades, always doing what he's supposed to do. And it was like he was literally like showing cats that if you don't beat yourself, right, you be good. He never beat himself. And kind of let you go. But that was something I learned from cats like you, cats like James Place, cats like who else we had that was like that. We had a couple guys that was really on the defensive side. And I remember I used to watch y'all and I'd be like, man, like these cats don't beat themselves. Like they may not be as athletic in certain areas as some of these other guys, but what they did was 90% of the time they were where they're supposed to be. When they're supposed to be there, doing what they're supposed to do. And I was like, okay, so that's how I stay on the defense and I get myself in position to win. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm defending myself from any access BS pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So I'll let y'all take that from there. But yeah, I had to share that because you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Real.
Yeah. No, I think especially for the younger generation, I think it's hard for them to actually understand the amount of sacrifice that goes into getting the things that you want. I mean, I'll just like honestly, I came out of high school and I knew I wanted to get on the field pretty early. And so I know it's been hard for me, just like having gone through and went to college in the same town I grew up in and stuff. Cause like there were people that always felt some type of way about that and felt like I was like receiving, special treatment. And so, but the thing that people didn't realize is the sacrifices I was making. I mean, like, for example, freshman year, while everybody's like away, I mean, I was away from home. Like, I mean, I was in my hometown, but I wasn't home.
You wasn't at the crib like that. You weren't at the crib like that.
And so for me, I mean, like I made the sacrifices that I wasn't going to go out and do all the things that other freshmen were doing. And so I think for them, they didn't, like, a lot of people didn't understand that and see that aspect of it. Like I was even like this girl I was dating at the time, she was like tripping because I wouldn't go out to like the little freshman orientations and stuff because I was trying to study my playbook and get on the field. And so I think like that part of it definitely gets missed. Just what it actually takes. And I hear coaches say this all the time, you know, it takes what it takes. And there's no substitute for hard work or things like that. But as far as being an underdog, man, like, I mean, that's just how I grew up. That's how my hometown is. You know, we played 6A foot or 5A at the time, but I mean, we were never the biggest, fastest, or strongest or anything like that. And we just were scrappy and like you already touched on, blue collar. And the biggest thing, like, I can't really speak offensively, but for sure defensively is you got to be consistent, man. And if you're consistent and you're disciplined, then you give yourself a chance. And what it boils down to with, you know, whatever you're doing in life, it's like, I mean, you've got to take care of the things that you need to take care of and not worry about what everyone else is doing or saying or things like that, because ultimately you want to leave your job in the hands of someone saying like, man, I don't want to take it away from him, because I mean, he or she's shown every reason for me to not take it away from him. And honestly, that's kind of how I was raised. Like my pops laid out options and things like that. And he was just like, you know, you can choose this or you can choose that, but these are going to be the options. And so, I mean, I was able to learn from an early age how to make decisions and make hopefully correct decisions. But yeah, I mean, like I said, just for me, it boils down to just sacrifices and it's not always going to be, you know, rainbows and everything that you're looking for, but you got to go through it.
Thanks.
And what I could say about that, like in like football, we always talk about football, but when you get past football, you're working at a job and your boss can trust you. You know, you're going to get the job done. You're going to be the person they look to you know, give that promotion or give that extra job, to give that extra money, you know. So in life, like we talk about the young generation, everything doesn't come instant. It's like social media and TikTok and all that. They think you can get famous tomorrow, which you can, but everybody can't. So some people, I mean, a lot of the older people, the OGs now, we put in the work to get where we at. And, you know, so y'all just put in the work and be consistent, like Con said. We talking about football, we talking about life. You want to be the person that they look to get that extra, that project done, that job done, that promotion. So Con being consistent like that. And like I said, I was at Hardin-Simmons for 3 years and I just watched Conlan, and even when we used to go out and party, man, Con was always one like, I'm good, you know, I'll drive. I ain't doing all that crazy stuff. He was a consistent person. He was who he was. He didn't let anybody change him. So I respect that. So that's my.
That's like cents. I can't remember what song it is, but Obama's has like a speech or whatever. They put a little excerpt on it. And he's like, you know, we can't tell all of our kids to aspire to be LeBron James or Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, those are select few. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's what kids don't realize with as much information they have at their hands, is they see all these people all over social media and they think that they can be them. But I mean, man, there's just a lot of behind the scenes thing. And as far as coaching, like that's the hardest thing to tell kids. It's like, it kills me whenever like summer gets here and I'll go 2 months without seeing a kid and he shows up back up for fall. And it's like, dude, you don't realize the sacrifices that it takes. But then they're going to be hot in the fall when they're not playing. You know
Always. Now we in the instant gratification era. This era, everything they want is like right now. And in reality, nothing happens instantly. Like even things that appear to be instant or were built, whether you were noticing it or not. And I think, like, I think I was listening to somebody tell me, I don't remember who it was. It might have been a teacher. We had a conversation, and she's talking about Tiger Woods and how Tiger Woods had been working to become who he became in golfing from like age like 8 or 7 or something like that from the documentary they were showing. And it's like that much time. So he took that much time to train until he was like 18 when he won his first championship, I believe. And it's like people just see when he was 18, he won that championship. So they're like, man, he's a phenom. But in reality, look at how many years of experience that he had to that point. It's like, so for us to sit here and say we watching these people that's blowing up on TV, TikTok, whatever they doing, and we like, oh man, like I could be that, like you saying these kids thinking I could be next Lil Wayne, LeBron James, even those people, like the time they put in before that, you didn't see it. You did not see it. You were not present for that time. We are consistent in something, like we the consistent in doing the things that we want to do, like we're consistently making steps towards that goal we want, or we consistently making steps away from the goal we want. You know what I'm saying? We like you may think that, man, I just ended up down the wrong road, but bro, you've been taking steps for the last 15 years this way. Like you got there finally. Now you finally reached the summit where the rubber met the road and you in the wrong place. Now you mad. Like don't show up to the summer after summer workouts, first day of fall camp, think you about to get your pass when the other guy have been here all summer. He know all the plays. He know exactly what I want from him. And you just gonna show up and start over him because you played last year? Nah, bro. Like you're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to get that work in. And that's what these kids need to understand. Cause I mean, for us, it's I know for sure a lot of black and brown kids are thinking that they're gonna hit big just off of something quick, and it ain't like that, bro. It ain't like that. Like you're not gonna be an entertainer or a super mega sports star based on the numbers. Like you may have to get a real career, and you may have to really build a framework for yourself through your academics. Like really take the time to take this stuff seriously you learn in school. When you go to college, actually pay attention in your classes. Like that's important. If you work a job, really take skills from your job that you can apply to your life. That's the most important stuff. We need to make sure we're not wasting our time, because time is the only asset we really got. Like this cash and stuff like that people making, it ain't really like the time that you spending. Like we spending so much time, bro, like doing different things. And if we don't have a real goal, it's like what are you doing with your time, bro? What are you really doing with this time? That's what I feel like, this consistency and just kind of playing defense in a way in life and then being able to win. It's like using your time to defend yourself against, like I said, stuff that you don't want. Like suffocate the stuff that you don't want in your life, and then your life will change for the better. And then eventually you get that opportunity, and then it'll look like you became an overnight success. When in reality, you just defended yourself against everything you didn't want. You know what I'm saying? You shut all those doors and you built the barrier and kept out all of that, stuff that comes from partying, getting DUIs, getting girls pregnant, getting on drugs. Like you kept all that stuff out because you built the barrier. You know, I didn't understand that till late though, and I really wish I'd have got it earlier because I was talented, but my talent couldn't get past my stupidness. For you know what I mean? I was beating myself. So that's something I really would want to impart on the younger generation for sure.
But they need to know that there's no shame in having a everyday job. Really all it boils down to, man, is you can't count your days. You got to make your days count. And that's the thing that like kids don't, they just want that fast money like right now. And like I was talking to my mom and dad about the other day, I was like, man, how do all these young couples that are like just married, they live in these like really nice houses and all that stuff, but then they put themselves in bad situations, and not everybody, but some people put themselves in bad situations financially just so that they can kind of keep up with the Joneses kind of deal. But yeah, man. And I was just gonna touch on this real quick. Like, I feel like there's a lot of negativity with social media as far as like kids and instant gratification, things like that. And I always try to flip things because since I've been in coaching, I'm like, man, kids respond when you address things in a positive manner. And the social media aspect, like the crazy thing about it is, okay, you think about like Jordan and guys like the Cowboys in the 90s, people that were just prominent, Mike Tyson, people that were prominent when social media wasn't so big. I mean, we didn't have behind the scenes stuff where we could see them work, and And now we're able to get on Instagram and see Odell Beckham putting in work. And so I think the positive part of social media is I can pull my phone out and my players know, like, oh, Coach Aguirre's in charge of the social media, like the Twitter accounts and stuff. So if he's recording, that might end up on social media. So now they're willing to train harder and push themselves a little bit more. And so, I mean, that's stuff that we never had to have. All we had to have was a coach tell us straight up, like, hey, this is what it takes. Whereas these kids, like, they respond better to knowing that all their peers are going to see something. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it is a powerful tool, and it can be used for positivity as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I want to add to that, though. So with that being said, I agree that is dope that we can do that now, because I think now we can actually give a full story behind, what it looks like to be putting that work in now. And I think that's an important step of kind of building that confidence within us. But as long as, and you know this, because you this type of guy, as long as you need extrinsic things to motivate you, you're gonna run into a wall at some point.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you need extrinsic things, because what happens when you get to middle of nowhere Kansas, you go to school and they don't got no social media presence. You know what I'm saying? Once you go to college and you got to go to this NAIA school, Bethany, let's say Bethany, Kansas, and you got this NAIA school, they don't got nothing, and you still got to work. Like, you still gonna have to go out there and work. You better go out there, put that work in, and you better find that inner whatever is your why. Like, hold on to that and run with that thing until the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna be the thing. Like, my daughter was that thing for me. I had a kid, and I think that was a blessing for me early in my life. As much hardship as I went through from having a kid early in my life, that was the biggest blessing, because of the fact that when people were willing to stop doing something, they were willing to cut off training early. They were willing to go home from the library, you know what I'm saying, like an hour before we really said we was going to go home and stuff like that. I wasn't leaving. Like, I wasn't, because I was like, my daughter's 2 years old right now. You know what I'm saying? She need this, and this. Like, I got to make this happen. And I'm willing to put in some crazy hours and make it happen. And we got to find that why. Though social media, though, is beautiful to be able to kind of jumpstart us. It's like that energy drink, right? You drink that bang and you turned up, but then once that bang start wearing off about 12 o'clock, you might need another one, or you're gonna have to figure out what's really driving you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I love the things that help us, right? The things that outside we can add to us to drive us forward. But that why is that's the ultimate driver. That's the motor. Whether that be, and it should be God too. You know what I'm saying? Depending on your belief system, God should be helping that as well. But yeah, bro, I just wanted to add to that, because I do like social media for that, though. I think it helps us document. You know what I'm saying? Like, we on social media, so we documenting the process. Documenting the process helps people. It really does.
And no, go ahead, Jay Jones.
No, because mine gonna be fun. You go ahead.
I was just saying that's the impact that I've wanted to leave with our kids as they go through our program is over a 4-year period. Like, I hope they win games. I hope they get stronger, faster, all that good stuff. But my goal is when they leave and they come back, or they think back about their time, that they're like, damn, I really learned how to approach work, whether that be, whatever type of work it is. I know how to go and approach work because my coach showed me that you've got to be here every day. You've got to be consistent, and there are no shortcuts. I mean, it takes what it takes. And so that's been the beauty of it as I go on year 4 in the same program, is now I'm seeing these kids as seniors, and they're a governing body themselves. Like, they don't need me anymore. You know what I'm saying? They're able to take over and be like, and almost like, hey, coach, like, we got this. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, you can just throw out a drill and throw out something that they've never done before, and they're ready to go from the jump, and they're like, let's get it. Like, they approach work differently than they did when they first got on campus.
100.
I was just gonna talk about college football real quick, because I know you got to get a haircut, Kerry. But this guy, Mr. Conlan, he and we don't get along in October for this one game, So how you feel about I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm Texas Longhorns till I go, but y'all looking real strong this year, man. Spencer Rattler and the defense looking nice. Think y'all gonna win that natty this year? Y'all got a team? You got a squad?
Man, a lot of that stuff goes with luck. I mean, you can have all the time, but you also got to be lucky too. And so they got to stay healthy. But I don't know, man. It's just I've been waiting since 2000 to win a national championship. So I don't want to sound like a broken record. Sound like a Cowboys fan that every year's our year. Hey, I mean, every year's our year, and you hear that. So I mean, I don't want to say that, but I think they have a chance to be good, really good, but you just never know, man. You never know.
Are y'all gonna play defense this year? That's a real question.
No, they play defense.
We've been playing defense.
They play defense. They
so
nice.
Don't start this little podcast.
I'm just asking, bro. I'm just making sure y'all gonna play defense this year. That's all I'm asking. That's it.
Now, when we move to that other conference, we better play some real defense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the Longhorn, we're gonna surprise y'all this year, Conlan. Y'all gonna go whatever and 13-1, 12-1. I hope y'all
call it face.
No, I like Sark though. I think he's gonna do some good things, but it's just, man, there's like the thing about restructuring or rebuilding a program. There's just a lot of other outside factors that just go into it than just getting athletes on campus and winning games. So, I mean, I feel for Texas because like Texas was up there for a while, and it's just been a minute since they've been like just like a prominent force in college football. That just doesn't make for the Big 12 being exciting. Like whenever there's not any competition as far as like who's going to win the Big 12.
I got an outside hot take. It's because they in Austin, bro. Austin 2-turn. 6th Street right there. Kids can't stay focused.
Yeah, but I think it's just the wrong quarterbacks. They've been recruiting the wrong. It's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But yeah, that 6th Street is a part of it. But Sark gonna get us right next year. If we don't win this year, we're gonna win. We need to win the Big 12 championship before we go to the SEC. I don't know how long that's gonna take, but
is that gonna happen?
Not this year.
Not this year.
Well, we got our take on the UTOU. We're gonna see for the Red River Shootout what goes down with that right there. I don't know, UT. I don't know. But
I work too hard for my money to bet, so don't even ask me about betting me on anything.
I mean, he don't believe in him. Y'all get,
that's not true.
That is what it means. Put your money where your mouth is. All right, we're gonna leave it at that.
We're gonna bet. We'll bet something
for a living. I put my money on 14, 15, 16-year-olds. I don't need to do it again.
Hey, don't do it. Don't do it. We'll do a hat or something, or like I did Garrett. I made Garrett wear like a shirt or something. We'll do something like that.
He was hot when he had to do that.
Yeah. But hey, it's been a good one. Con, we appreciate you, brother. It's been a blessing to have you on as usual. This time we actually gonna get this one posted. For sure. But hey, Con, where you just let everybody know your IG, you got Twitter. If you got anything you want people to follow you on, anything like that, let them know what we got.
Yeah, so as far as like my football type stuff or just my coaching stuff, you can just follow at Conlan_Aguirre on IG, and then like I said, that little outfit page is Console, Con_Soul, and then my Twitter is I think my Twitter is Conlan_Aguirre also, but I mean, I got a unique name, so if you just search it, you'll find it. But,
yeah. And then make sure y'all also like and subscribe to podcasts, man. Give us some feedback so you can know what you want to hear, because we're trying to be able to give out better content. But hey, man, we out.